What's up guys, how you going? Here with Bo and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're just going to talk about some of the latest news and events. We're not going to look at the market because the market is pretty rough right now. But to start off, we're going to have a look at an upcoming or potential war on privacy coins. So the war on privacy coins begins. Monero, Dash and Zcash delisted from CoinCheck. Now, CoinCheck is a Japanese exchange. It's one of the biggest exchanges in Asia, and they have made the decision to delist all the privacy coins off the platform. Now, in their official press release, which came out on around the 18th of May, they go through the rationale and the decision making as to why they have made the decision to delist these privacy coins. Now, the main reason behind it all came about after this exchange was hacked. They had a major NEM hack that was worth more than $500 million that was stolen from the exchange. Now, following the hack, Japan's Financial Services Agency, which is the FSA, issued something to the exchange following an investigation, and what they issued is called a business improvement order. Now, the exchange, and in their statement here, they go into what some of that order was about and what it prompted them to change. Now, some of the highlights here are that management system, the AML CFT, which I think is CTF, it's supposed to be CTF, it's counterterrorism financing. And they've said here that we deem that it is not appropriate for us to deal with currencies that are of little concern. That's just a bad translation. And that we've revalidated various risks based on the characteristics. The following currency handling will be abolished. And then they go into the fact that Zcash, Dash, Augur's reputation token, and Monero will now be delisted. Now, for those of you who have followed this channel for a while, know that we do something called SWOT reviews, where we evaluate the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of certain tokens. Now, we recently did one on Monero, and one of the threats that I actually identified of Monero was that Monero faces a threat of being removed from exchanges in the future if regulation around exchanges continues. Now, my own rationale behind that being a threat was me merely putting myself in the shoes of regulators, thinking, well, how are they going to see privacy coins, the obfuscation of wallet addresses, and the fact that transactions can be completely anonymous? Let's dive into privacy coins a little bit further and actually explain some of the technology behind them and how they work, and look at some specific examples. So right now, what we're looking at is Zcash's Block Explorer. Now, Zcash is a privacy coin, although it has privacy features, meaning that privacy can be turned on and off. It doesn't have to be made private, or it's not enforced to be private. So we're looking at the Block Explorer for Zcash, meaning that we can see public transactions. It's a permissionless blockchain, meaning it's a public blockchain. Now, although we can see the transactions, some of these transactions would be anonymous, meaning that certain people using Zcash have decided to obfuscate those wallet addresses. So even though we can see the ledger, we can see that the transaction has been confirmed on the network, therefore we know it is valid and true. The transactions that have been chosen to be anonymous, we do not know where they came from, and we do not know where they're going to. Zcash's privacy technology is called ZK Snarks, and it works in two ways. And one way is where they shield the wallet addresses, so you cannot see where that transaction has come from, and you cannot see where that transaction is going to. And the other feature is you can actually hide or make anonymous the quantities or the amounts of Zcash being sent or received. Now, moving on to Monero. Monero is a little bit different to Zcash in the fact that the option to make it private does not exist. It is inherently private. That is actually built into its protocol. That switch between public and private cannot be turned on and off. It is purely private. Now, Monero also uses different kind of stealth technology called ring signatures. That's another way where they obfuscate wallet addresses. So again, like Zcash, you don't know where it's going to, and you don't know where it's come from. And it also hides the quantities of Monero being sent and received as well. This is Monero's Block Explorer. Just like Zcash, even though some of those transactions may have been private, we can still see the permissionless ledger. We still know that transactions have been confirmed on the Monero blockchain and that they are valid and that they are true. It's just that we don't know who's behind those wallet addresses, and we don't know the quantities that are being sent and received. We also have Dash, which is another cryptocurrency. That's its primary function. But Dash, much like Zcash, has the option to make it private or not. Now, this brings us to what's going to happen in the future. If one exchange in Japan has delisted privacy-based coins, or coins that have that privacy feature, based on pressure from the Japanese regulator, what may happen in the future. Will this happen with more exchanges? And is it going to be a major issue or a major threat if you are considering investing into privacy coins? Well, first of all, I think we need to take a little bit look at the history of why regulators may be seeing privacy coins under this microscope, why they may not be in favor of certain privacy coins. And I think my interpretation is it all comes from Silk Road. Now, those of you who have been into cryptocurrencies and blockchain for a long time would know for sure about Silk Road. Silk Road was a drugs marketplace, almost like an open peer-to-peer marketplace that existed on the dark net years ago, and what they used was Bitcoin in the early days as the form of currency. Now, it's probably because Bitcoin wasn't very well understood back then, and they didn't realize that all the transactions on Bitcoin's ledger were publicly available and permanently stored on the blockchain and immutable as well. So when Silk Road actually went through its phases and ended up getting caught, the founder, Ross Albright, was actually captured and imprisoned. What it did is it gave cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin a bit of a bad name. It gave it a bit of a bad taste in the government's mouth as to how they viewed cryptocurrency. So when you add in privacy on top of that, and the fact that they can't trace transactions, they can't see transactions, I think it's just an added layer. It's been too close from the closing down of Silk Road for governments to perhaps see that privacy function as a value adding type of feature that they're willing to endorse. But here's the interesting plot twist, and that is that Zcash only a few days ago was announced that it will be listed on the Gemini exchange. Now, the Gemini exchange is arguably America's, if not the world's, most regulated exchange, because Gemini is actually registered in New York, and New York actually has its own laws and regulations around exchanges. Now, the Winklevoss twins worked very hard in establishing Gemini to actually get regulated and to be seen as a credible, a professional, and a safe exchange that could handle custodianship of assets and to bring in institutional investors. So on the one hand, you've got Japan's Financial Services Agency applying pressure to a major exchange to delist privacy coins, and then you've got Gemini, which is one of America's, or if not America's, most regulated exchange, actually listing Zcash, which is the third ever cryptocurrency that Gemini has listed. We can see on CoinMarketCap here that Zcash is listed on a number of exchanges, and when we scroll down we can see that Gemini is now 23rd in trading volume. It's getting 1.7 million a day in trading volume. So Zcash is getting quite a bit of volume, it's getting quite a bit of buy and sell from Gemini, and here's the risk I think in the future for privacy coins, and that is liquidity. You see, if exchanges around the world keep getting pressure from regulators and regulators don't see privacy coins favorably, the risk is the more exchanges these coins are delisted from, the worse the liquidity is going to get, the harder it will be to obtain these cryptocurrencies through a fiat gateway, and essentially it will have a negative impact on the market long term. Personally, I like privacy coins. I like for what they stand for. When I did the SWOT review of Monero, I was superbly impressed by its development team, by its huge community, by its well-refined source code, and the same goes for Zcash, the same goes for Dash. But it doesn't take away the fact that there could still be a threat from an investment perspective if you consider looking into a privacy coin long term. At the end of the day, one of the best things you can do is to constantly evaluate what you're considering investing in, because in the blockchain and cryptocurrency world, it is so dynamic and it is so rapidly changing. Things change literally day to day. So the best way is just to try and stay on top of regulation, news, and what's going on in the industry, and to constantly keep reevaluating your portfolio. So for today's sponsor, we have UBCoinMarket. Now, UBCoinMarket is an online marketplace that allows peer-to-peer buying and selling of consumer goods, but the payment mechanism is in cryptocurrency. So think of it almost like the eBay of cryptocurrency. The UBCoin platform is actually the second product from the already established Ubank, which is a mobile application that currently has 16 million users, 2.5 of which are active, and is very popular in Eastern Europe. So what is the problem that UBCoinMarket are trying to solve? Well, at the moment, the on-ramp to buy and obtain cryptocurrencies is mostly through investment, airdrops, mining, or perhaps even a family member or friend sending some to you. So what this means is that the adoption into cryptocurrencies is pretty slow and it's challenging, and we need applications and projects that are creating solutions to onboard people. UBcoin is aiming to solve this problem by creating an online marketplace where people can buy and trade goods with one another using cryptocurrency. So investors who have bought cryptocurrencies and perhaps have made gains could use UBcoin market as somewhere to buy goods using their returns that they've made. And it's also a way for people who don't own any cryptocurrencies to gain exposure in a less risky way. The marketing strategy for UBcoin market follows the success that they have achieved with the Ubank application, and this was done through partnerships with Samsung and Huawei, where the Ubank application was pre-installed on new smartphone devices. So UBcoin's strategy will follow the same methodology, where partnerships with smartphone manufacturers will be sought after to have the app pre-installed on new devices. In addition, regional marketing teams will be deployed to multiple geographies to develop communities and promote the product. The token associated with UBcoin Marketplace is a utility token called UBC and is an Ethereum-based ERC20 token. Its utility within the platform is to pay for smart contract settlements and for fees on transactions. UBcoin is currently in their public ICO. If you would like to learn more about UBcoin Market, there will be links down in the description to the website and the white paper. So in this piece from IT News, we've got Malcolm Turnbull, which is Australia's currently serving Prime Minister, has directed the DTA, which is the Digital Transformation Agency, to investigate blockchain technology and its potential use cases within government. The article goes on to say that the Chief Digital Officer for the DTA, Peter Alexander, has been looking into blockchain technology and has been approached by a number of vendors and other people within government to start exploring it and what can actually be done with blockchain tech and distributed ledger technology within the government. And in fact, in the federal budget, the DTA was actually given $700,000 to explore these technologies and its potential use cases. Now, the DTA have already said that they're looking into welfare payments as one of the targets of where they want to look into for the use case of blockchain technology. But other things they're looking at is also the settlement of trades, cargo management, and even using open data to ensure accuracy and transparency. It's interesting seeing the government's reaction to blockchain technology. I mean, being in the industry now and seeing how far the industry has come and all the projects, the hundreds of thousands of projects, some of them absolutely incredible out there that are exploring these use cases and have been exploring these use cases for a number of years. Having worked in the government myself, I know how slow things can actually be for implementation because it's such a big beast. But either way, what is exciting about this is not necessarily that the government's going to go and use Ethereum or it's going to go and use Lisk or some other form of open protocol to actually implement applications and solutions, but the fact that they're seeing blockchain technology, they're seeing distributed ledger technology as having huge advantages in both efficiency, transparency, and immutable record keeping. Now, for the last piece today, we have an article here, welfare payments in Australia could be delivered over blockchain, as the DTA, that was the Digital Transformation Agency we just spoke of in the previous article, has revealed plans to prototype a welfare payment delivery system using blockchain technology. So the plan is to have a working prototype for welfare payment delivery systems by the end of next financial year. Now, as we previously discussed, the DTA was given $700,000 to explore blockchain technology in this year's financial budget. Randall Brugode, who is the CEO of the Digital Transformation Agency, actually went on to say that the potential of blockchain to securely record transactions will be investigated, drawing on the experience of other public and private sector organisations. He went on to say that we'll also build on work done across government already, such as CSIRO's work on distributed ledgers. Randall goes on to say that they're looking at how these technologies might even offer automated service channels that are closer to the human experience. This might include intelligent chatbots. Now, intelligent chatbots, Australia's own Heart34 has actually been developing a solution for monetized chatbots. So that's pretty cool that the government are actually looking into that, and one of Australia's own projects is actually focused on delivering a solution, a blockchain and crypto solution for that area. The article finishes up by saying that the DTA is looking at making its services more consumable by other government departments and also private entities. So really interesting stuff that the governments again are starting to get involved and are starting to explore what blockchain tech and distributed ledger technology, more importantly, can do for them in increasing efficiency and increasing transparency. So that's it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I want to hand it over to you to give me some feedback on whether you like this kind of format. These kind of formats are less onerous for me to actually prepare, and I can kind of do more of them. And I might even try and do one of these kind of segments once a week if you liked it. So if you did, obviously the likes are always really appreciated, but I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments as well. And if you're new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button to come aboard if you want to see awesome future content. Guys, I just want to say thanks so much for watching. I always appreciate your time. I hope it provided value. My name's Bo. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.